It's my great pleasure to speak to you at this opening of the 47th meeting of ICANN. Allow me to join my voice to South African authorities and to welcome all of you to the African continent. The cradle of humanity, the continent of opportunities and future growth. Our continent is commemorating this year the 50th anniversary of the African Union, the Organization of African Unity. It's indeed in May 25th, 1963, when the first meeting of the founding fathers of the Organization of African Unity took place in Addis Ababa for the signing of the Charter of the Organization of the African Unity. By this solemn act, our founding fathers, keen to safeguard and consolidate the independence of our countries, then under the yoke of colonization, and in a bid to strengthen solidarity across Africa and total liberation of the continent, did not only lay the foundation of our unity through a common African identity, but also triggered the dynamics of actions and efforts towards integration and sustainable development that our continent is today pursuing. The information and communication technologies are playing a vital role to achieve the African Union vision, which is an integrated, prosperous, peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. The Internet, with its critical resources and governance, are in the center of this play. You are all experts, and you know, I'm sure that you know better than me, but it's worth noting that ICTs are transforming the African continent and empowering its people's lives. The Internet has become an integral part of socio-economic development in Africa. That's why, in their Oliver Tambo Declaration, adopted in Johannesburg in 2009 and endorsed by heads of state, the African Union ministers in charge of communication and information technologies committed themselves to work together, first, to protect African geographic and heritage names, traditional knowledge, and traditional cultural expressions, which are recognized as economic assets in the information society. Secondly, to promote the use of the country code top-level domains, as they are a critical national resource, whilst ensuring that the technical and administrative operations are at the international standards to foster trust and use of African domain names in order to bring financial, economic, and socio-cultural benefits to Africa. In addition, In addition to this, and as per the 2010 Declaration of the Heads of State and Government on Information and Communication Technologies, the African Union Commission strongly believes that meeting these two objectives and building of Africa's information society requires a secure cyberspace, appropriate infrastructure, and efficient coordination among African stakeholders and with international institutions. To that end, the 22nd Ordinary Session of the Heads of State and Government Summit decided, among others, 1, to continue the implementation of the Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa, PIDA. Its 3 priority programs, which is enabling environment, infrastructure, and internet exchange points, all of them are being implemented with ISOC in 33 African countries. Second, to accelerate the analog to digital migration and the elaboration of national cyber legislations. Third, elaborate an African action plan for the migration from IBV4 to IBV6. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the Internet is one of the greatest public gifts of the 20th century. Over the past 5 years, the Internet connectivity market in Africa has grown at an exceptional pace. It has been the ground for an unprecedented level of innovation and facilitated cross-border trade through e-commerce, helping to further develop the internal market and contributing to the erosion of entry barriers between African member states. In participating in the global village and using the Internet, we Africans should make sure that our transactions are safe and that our identity is protected. Our names and culture should be used for the benefit of our economies and our people. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the Tunis Commitment and Tunis Agenda reaffirm the Geneva Commitment to Human Rights as the foundation for the global information society. The human rights standards require governments to ensure that the information society does not result in discrimination or deprivation of existing rights. On the contrary, ICTs should be used to advance effective implementation of human rights at local levels. The principle of non-discrimination mandates universal access to information and communication as an overall goal. All individuals, communities, and countries should be empowered to take part in the information society, using their own languages to create, disseminate, and share information and knowledge. We, in the African Union, recognize and praise the effort of the technical community, academia, and governments that started the Internet. And we believe that the private sector and businesses, the civil society, and the academia, the governments, and technical community should keep building it for the benefit of humanity. Internet governance and security concerns all of us to greater extent. We also strongly believe that the fully inclusive approach involving governments, the industry, intergovernmental and international organizations will reflect the general partnership approach which has helped to build the Internet over the past 40 years. There is a tendency from some to antagonize the issue of Internet, its stability and its governance. But let me just mention that the issue of Internet is not about old and new way of thinking. It's not about telecom community versus Internet and computer communities. It's not about autocratic versus democratic type of governance. It's not about governments versus civil society and businesses. It's about all users, institutions, and individuals, men and women, feeling confident of using the Internet. The African Union Commission will spare no effort to contribute positively to the debate and to building the global consensus. With our 54 member states, we must rise to the challenge of developing customer-centric services that can offer services delivering quality, consistency, and transparency. This is what drives our action in the African Union. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, ICANN structure reflects the global Internet community, including governments, technical community, registries, the business community, academia, and non-commercial communities, and representatives of the consumer interests, working together to promote the stability and integrity of the Internet. We are inviting all stakeholders to make inclusion as the center of all our actions and join us so together we can develop ICTs for the benefit of our economies, for the benefit of our people. You are meeting here today at a time of critical changes to the international landscape of Internet governance. Cooperation rather than confrontation. It's now recognized within the African Union system as the way forward for the Internet. Let us all work to make it a reality. There is a vital necessity to acknowledge that everyone has a role to play in the Internet governance. Internet is one of all and should remain as such. For the African Union, the essential principles are clear. The day-to-day operation of Internet should be led by the private sector, with governments intervening when necessary on overarching matters of security, resilience, equitable access, and fair competition. We do believe that there is a need not only for enhanced cooperation, but for a new Internet social contract in which every single actor is recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, before concluding, allow me to convey our thanks and appreciation to the board of ICANN and to the different ICANN supporting organizations and constituencies. Thank you, Mr. Crocker, for the board support to the GAC advices. Thank you, Mr. Fadi, for all your achievements in this short period, especially for Africa. Those words and those principles, edited here and there about the need for extra transparency, are very much valued and appreciated. We in the governments do not have all the tools to deliver all programs related to DNS, but we have opted for an open, private sector-led framework, while ensuring that the development of the DNS is not going to undermine our national and continental brands. Many thanks to all ICANN supporting organizations, and my special appreciation go to the GAC and its chair for their wonderful work. And with these words, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you fruitful meetings, and thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.